Hi and good afternoon, everybody. My name is Eric Gregory. I'm the Director of Marketing with Brett Young Seeds, and I'm based out of Winnipeg, Manitoba. Today we're at a site in Miami, Manitoba to look at some specific questions around canola hybrids, shatter tolerance. Pod shatter tolerance, no doubt, brings a lot of benefit to growers looking to either direct harvest or to reduce harvest losses. And what's recently become more of an issue, particularly given some of the harvest and high wind conditions that we had in the fall of 2020, where growers who had thought they were protected from pod shatter all of a sudden found out that their canola varieties were susceptible to pod drop. Today I'm with Evan Gillis out of DL Seeds, and Evan is going to talk about some of the work that DL Seeds is doing looking at pod shatter tolerance versus pod drop. Welcome, Evan.
Thank you.
Evan, just give our viewers a quick overview of your position and the work that you do at DL Seeds.
Okay, I'm a canola breeder at DL Seeds. I'm part of a small team of breeders that is working on developing the next generation of elite hybrids for Western Canada. This includes disease resistance, of course, high yield, and the latest topic of pod shatter.
We're standing here at one of the research plots that DL is working with, and I know at this particular site you are actually evaluating products for pod drop. Can you talk a little bit about the work that you're doing here and some of the protocols that you have in place to bring this information to market?
Yeah, so for pod shatter, we are excited to be working with a new trait. We also have one of our staff members in Manitoba doing his master's at the University of Manitoba looking at pod shatter and pod drop and really screening genetics with in-field protocols, including artificial wind and other ways of creating that damage to the plants, which induces the shattering response and looking for that resistance that we can then bring into our material.
And specifically, what is the difference between pod shatter and pod drop?
So shattering is when the pod comes apart and the seeds will fall on the ground. Pod drop is more when the pod doesn't shatter. So in the case where you have resistance to that part of it, then you end up in a situation where the pod may fall off itself onto the ground. Yeah, they're not directly linked to the same pathway or the same gene. They're a separate genetic process and a separate trait in the plant.
So looking specifically at some of the work that you have in this trial and some of the work that your master's student is focusing on, what do you expect to find and how will that evolve to help growers with this issue of pod drop?
So on both pod drop and pod shatter, we're really screening a lot of our elite germplasm and basically a lot of the germplasm in our entire program, right from nursery level up to commercial hybrids, and really trying to get a real baseline of where we're at with all of that. The hope is we can take our exciting new trait and we'll then have elite backgrounds that have improved tolerance, and then we can put those together and get an even better product.
Okay, great. Thank you very much. And thank you to our viewers today for tuning in to hear about this issue. As always, we'll be updating you from time to time about pod shatter tolerance and pod drop. In the meantime, please check back with brettyoung.ca for more information about our canola hybrids. Thank you.